Okay, pre-calculus, let's go ahead and review the three domain cases. Okay, so if you have a fraction, the expression in the denominator cannot equal 0. If you have a radical, the expression in the radical has to be greater than or equal to 0. Okay, when you write these things out, we don't put the radical, just the expression. That's why I circle it. And case 3 is really just a combination of the both. If you happen to have the radical that's in the denominator, this expression has to just strictly be greater than 0. Okay, not negative because the radical, not 0 because of the denominator. Okay, so take a look at these right here. State your answer in interval notation. So that means the symbols that have the parentheses and the brackets. Okay. When it says x is greater than or equal to 7, that's called inequality notation. Inequality is the not equal symbol, and interval means the parentheses and brackets. So this is how they want us to say our answer. Okay, now I notice here that we have a radical in the denominator. Okay, what do we do with the numerator? Nothing. We don't do numerators. We only do the radical in the denominator. Okay, so sometimes we have to do both. If it's a radical and a denominator, you have to do 2 steps. Okay, so I'm going to write x squared minus 25, just the expression in the radical, and this is going to be considered case 3, is greater than 0. Okay, now I know that we're not allowed to square root. Okay, we're not going to move it over and square root. We're going to factor into x plus 5 and x minus 5. Okay, now we are not going to take these two things and crawl in the corner and solve them. We're not going to split them up. The reason that we factor is so we can test the sections on a number line. And this is what I really need you guys to do. Okay, I need you to put the values plus minus 5 on a number line. Okay, now we don't solve this so that we can do a coloring problem. We're going to have to figure out where the answers are. Are these the numbers that work for this domain problem? Do these values work in the problem? Okay, I need to see some bubbles. So since it says greater, you need to put open bubbles on the number line. Putting those bubbles lets me know, okay, that you understand we're strictly greater and that we're not using these values. Okay, so step 1, we factor. Step 2, you draw the number line. Step 3, consider the bubbles, okay, and draw some bubbles. Step 4, we test the sections. And this is where some people get a little confused. How do you figure out where to color? Okay, so you're going to take a value and don't put it on the section. It's just these 3 sections. If you'd like, you can write something like this here, x equals 0. But don't put it there and make it look like another section. The easiest place I've found to plug in values is right there. 0 is going to go in for x. 0 squared minus 25 makes a negative. Okay, but we want positive. We want numbers that are more than 0. 0 is not working. This section is not the ones that have the right answers. I'm going to come over here and try 10. The section of numbers that are more than 5. So 10 squared makes 100 minus 25. That's definitely going to be positive. Okay, so I need you to color this in, which shows that you took this value, you considered it, and these values work. Is that true? Is that true? If I take the numbers 6 and 7 and 8, that's going to work here? Let's try 6. 6 squared is 36 minus 25, which makes a positive, and I can square root it. What about 5? What if I try to take the number 5 and plug it in right there? 25 minus 25 is 0. Okay, and then the square root of 0 is 0. Okay, but what's wrong with that? It's in the denominator. That's why that is not filled in. Okay, this third section over here, I'm going to try negative 10. And a negative 10 that goes in and gets squared makes a positive 100. That section works. So we're going to consider this right here. Okay, so for our final answer, and it says interval notation, I'm going to start with parentheses. negative infinity up to negative 5, parentheses, okay, union 5 to infinity. Okay, lucky for us, we only had to do one part, the denominator over here with the radical. We did not have to consider the numerator. Okay, and here's the answer for this one. Okay, I'm doing a lot of my videos from the dining room table, and then the other half is where I sew all my masks, and I just made a cute one here for my daughter, and it's got cupcakes all over it.